Okay, the moment most of y'all have been waiting for, aka the Korra Hot Takes video. And to go ahead and start this video off, I might as well throw out this disclaimer. I like Legend of Korra. I like Korra. I don't like the writing. I like Korra. Y'all Korra fans, y'all understand, right? Y'all can calm down. Breathe in and out. Unless you want to hate watch. I mean, thanks for the view. Go ahead. But just so y'all know, I do not hate Korra. Just simple hot takes. But anyways, let's go ahead and get right to it. This hot take is by Otley Atlas. Sorry if I butcher some of y'all names. Core villains all started off being about their ideology, but steer towards I am a world threat / big bad guy, and you must defeat me, and it throws people off. I see that in the comment section y'all had a bit of a discussion, but I hate to say it, bro. This person is right. Kuvira and Unalaq are the only people that fall into that trope. And the most dramatic shift of that was Kuvira. And that's no question about it. And let me elaborate for a moment. Kuvira had a strict ideology where she wanted to unite the Earth Kingdom. And that was mainly due to the power vacuum that Zahir left behind. After killing the Earth Queen, of course. And the way that she was going about her plan in the beginning was absolutely perfect and followed her ideals. But as soon as Korra challenged her to a fight, or the big giant robot, that's when it suddenly became, oh, I'm the big bad now. You must defeat me if you ever plan to stop me. Which make you say, okay, that's crazy shift. Like, what happened to you trying to unite the people? But instead, she's like, fuck it. I got a big giant laser. Let me blast a hole through the entire fucking Republic City. And the crazy part is, on a political aspect, she was going to actually succeed. Like, she was going to succeed if she kept doing it the way that she was originally doing it. But suddenly, out of nowhere, she's obsessed with giant mechs as if she got done watching a 10-hour marathon of Gundam. Which that definitely threw people off. Now, Unalaq, on the other hand, is different simply because he was very obviously what's the word? And that's why season 2 gets so much flack, because it literally became a generic story out of nowhere where obvious bad guy and obvious good guy. It became a thing of good versus bad. And not like the original series Avatar: The Last Airbender, where we wasn't sure who was bad or good. Because there was good people in the Fire Nation, but there was also bad people in the Water Nation, the Earth Nation, and so on. But of course, season 2 just threw it completely out the window, said, fuck it, this nigga's evil. He's obviously evil. Because Unalaq's main ideology wasn't good at all. He literally could be chalked up as, oh, I'm a big bad guy that you must defeat. The sad part is Korra couldn't tell he was evil when you could just look over at him and he's like... And meanwhile, Korra's like, don't worry, that's how my uncle always laughs. So in all honesty, I don't agree with this hot take. If anything, the only person that falls into the exact category that you're talking about is Kuvira. Because she had the most dramatic shift away from her ideology. Everybody else from Amon to Zahir was actually focused on their ideology. And that's only till Korra intervened. Because they all still 100% believed in their ideology. The only one to flip-flop was Kuvira. And this hot take is by iKing6797. We're doing this hot take because it fits for Korra. If Pleaded sniped Tenzin from afar, I am of belief he could have extremely diffed the other 3 members of the White Lotus at the same time. And that's kind of just like fact. Like, let's be real and call it 100% what it is. Tenzin got jumped. Like, he legit got jumped. There's no way around it. Tenzin got jumped. He had our boy Zahir on the run, even though Zahir was talking that cash shit. Our boy Tenzin called him on his bluff and had Zahir like this. Let me tell you something! Let me tell you something! Wait. This next hot take is by Mickey M123. Korra is actually written and acts like the average 16 to 21 year old, especially in America. And that's kind of facts. Because I made that exact comparison in a video probably like 1 or 2 months ago. Where I said that if Korra was a person in real life, y'all would not hang out with her. Y'all would not want to hang out with that type of person in real life if Korra was a real life person. But don't get me wrong, her traits and her characteristics are believable. Like, you can believe that a person in real life acts, talks, thinks, does everything exactly like how Korra does. Because Korra in the beginning had an inflated sense of self-worth. She was very inconsiderate of other people's feelings. She will apologize for things and then not learn from said things. And acts primarily off of impulse without thinking the consequences at all. And always have a bad attitude at that. And she also feels like the world revolves around her. But then she gets older, then the consequences of life kick her teeth in, and then she goes through severe anxiety and depression. but it takes her friends and her own power to overcome that depression and anxiety. And she becomes a stronger person because of it. And she starts to build her own very characteristics, where she starts being more considerate towards other people, where she starts to have less of an attitude and is more understanding. And she starts to think more and think of her experiences instead of being impulsive like she was in the past. And boom, that's Korra, wrapped up in a nice, pretty bow right there. And the description I just made probably describes somebody that y'all know in real life, or maybe one of y'all, and y'all grew up and just outgrew that type of behavior. Or you overcame something because life knocked you down. So yes, of course, I agree with this hot take. And this hot take is by Anna Love. Korra's team Avatar was terrible. They didn't have the same spark as Aang and the OG team Avatar. They feel more like co-workers than friends, which I stated before. If you don't count the whole love triangle between Korra, Mako, and Asami, and Bolin having a crush on Korra, which I feel like people keep forgetting that Bolin obviously had a crush on Korra, and Korra knew. There really isn't much to really say about this hot take because I agree with it 100%. They did feel more like co-workers than actual friends. Like, it was very obvious that they didn't fuck with each other. They genuinely didn't fuck with each other. You could chalk it up to be like, oh, they're older. Of course they're going to be separate from each other. In the comic books, if it wasn't for the gang's responsibilities all over the world, I promise you they would be hanging out with each other 24/7 like they always do. Like when Korra was going through her crippling depression, her so-called friend, aka her ex Mako, didn't think, how about I go and visit her and see how the fuck she's doing? Instead of my other ex writing messages to her. Making it seem like Asami's the only one that actually gave a fuck about Korra. And Bolin, of course. And Bolin and Mako don't even seem like brothers anymore near the end of the series compared to how they look in season 1. They look like former co-workers that meet up and say, hey, how's the wife and kids? Than brothers anymore. And an even better question for some of y'all to determine if Korra Team Avatar feels more like a family versus co-workers. How many of them on Korra's team do y'all believe will actually risk their lives to save one another? No, I mean like genuinely risk their lives to save one another without them dating. If they never dated and remain friends based purely off of their friendships, how many of them do you believe will actually risk their lives for one another? I'm sorry, but we have seen that with everybody in this picture. Zuko risked his life for Katara with a lightning bolt to the chest, and risked his life to help Sokka's father and Suki escape prison, while he jumped towards the gondola, not sure if he was going to make it or not. Suki risked her life in season 1 to help them escape from Zuko, and she helped Appa. Toph risked her life in order to save them from sinking in the library when they lost Appa, because they could have died in that library, while the Sandbenders were attacking. Katara risked her life to save Aang and escape when he got killed, and Sokka risked his life and Space Sword and Boomerang in order to save Toph. Now don't get me wrong, Korra's team will risk their lives, but for the greater good, not for the other person to survive. And I'm talking about purely based off of friendship, not because they're siblings or they was romantically involved. Like if something happens to Korra, her team, if they're nearby, they'll be like, okay, we'll come help you. And they'll come out that bitch swinging. Okay, cool. But let you touch this motherfucking bald monk and you could be across the fucking world. You will get the wrath of all these jokers coming to hunt you down. Aang, he has a no-kill rule. Everybody else, oh no, they will. They will put you on a t-shirt. But this one is a great hot take too because I definitely believe it. And this hot take is by HillGiga09. Oh, I know I butchered that. I am sorry for that. Korrasami is a terrible ship. I would not be friends with somebody I'm assuming you mean partner, cheated with, much less consider them a potential partner. And that makes sense, to be honest. I made a whole entire video on the Korra and Asami relationship. And I'll make sure I'll put the link to the full video in the description down below. But yeah, I don't think that they was a good relationship whatsoever. And that's mainly because you saw no hints, no signs, and it was just bullcrap that they just threw together. They was like, whatever, they can be together. And the subtle hints that they so-called made obvious weren't obvious whatsoever. It seemed more as if they was actual good friends than anything romantic whatsoever. You can't just throw in a scene where they slightly blush and then say, oh, they're romantically involved. And there literally has to be a build-up. And I don't want to hear that bullcrap. Oh, they was too scared to show a gay relationship on TV, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it because you can make it obvious without having them to kiss or hold hands. So let's stop that right there. Korra came out in 2012. Guess what came out in that same time? Gravity Falls came out in 2012 as well. And why is Gravity Falls important? Because these two cops right here, and they had way more romantic chemistry than Korra and Asami. I dare y'all to tell me that these two didn't have more chemistry together than Korra and Asami. Ever since we seen these two on screen together, they had always had chemistry. Like, they didn't say it to our face, but we kind of knew already. You know what I mean? Like, literally every time they are on screen, it's very clear that they have that type of relationship. And people love them for it because they're actual likable characters. We're like, okay, cool. And treat them like normal people. Simple. Korra and Sami felt forced out of nowhere, which don't even seem realistic. The main thing you can think of in regards to them being in a relationship is that Asami wrote Korra letters, which any of her friends should have done, and she complimented Korra's hair. That's it. Meanwhile, these two right here are literally enjoying each other's company, encouraging each other, and also highlighting each other's best qualities throughout the series. Not season, series. Yeah, so this was a terrible ship. Which that falls into the next hot take by Law 716. Korra should have stayed single. That's it. There isn't wrong with somebody just staying by themselves and just being single. For some people, that's the best thing for them is to stay single. Some romantic relationships shouldn't be forced. This next hot take is by Weed Guru 6. Hot take: Kuvira should have been from Republic City and not the Earth Kingdom, so she could actually look like a villain. And I have to disagree on that one. It was way more beneficial for Kuvira to be from the Earth Kingdom because that way she could relate to other people during the power vacuum that happened after Zahir. If she was from Republic City, she would have been stopped almost immediately because there are way more metal benders in that city than out in the Earth Kingdom as a whole. And the main reason she seemed threatening as a villain is because of the people that she had backing her, along with her army and influence. So she was like the hometown hero trying to unite the city. So I have to disagree with this hot take because Kuvira definitely should have just stayed from the Earth Kingdom. This hot take is by Dark Knight 66. Katara is as much to blame as the other White Lotus members for disappointment called Korra. She was teaching her since the beginning and had experience with Avatar and did nothing to improve Korra's training or give her freedom or knowledge about outside word politics. In which I made multiple videos talking about that, joking on that, and say, yo, Katara could have just gave Korra a heads up on a lot of stuff like, oh, you can turn into Kyoshi. You can turn into Roku at your own will, mind you. Or she could talk Korra ears off as like a bedtime story on her adventures with Aang and all that stuff. Oh, and also, we can't forget, Katara is the one that passed Korra along. Even though she wasn't finished with her training and didn't get the spiritual aspects of said bending forms that she'd been just using for the past 13 years for no reason. And that immediately pissed me off about the writers all the time. Like, why didn't they teach her the spiritual aspect when she was like a toddler or like a kid? But they wait till she's 18, a borderline hormonal grenade, and unleash her into the city with your most passive son. And this one's by Crash TM657. Amon is probably the strongest villain in Avatar. The literal only way you can beat him is in the Avatar state, and he was never defeated. He only ran away. If we're being real in regards to Korra, Zahir is the only villain that she managed to defeat without plot armor or just horrible writing. Because Mon, if the writing wasn't so terrible, he would not have exposed himself like that. He would just swim away. Common sense. Or he would just tunnel underwater with waterbending. And Unalaq, if it wasn't for Janora becoming a literal angel coming from the sky, that should have been game over. And the whole Kuvira season 4 thing was just meh. They were just trying to wrap the show up and say, yo, let's wrap it up. We'll try again next time. Korra did get help with Zahir, but not as much as the other fights. But I don't think he's the strongest villain in Avatar. He's up there, but he's not the strongest. No. Like, I don't agree with the take, but it's a solid hot take nonetheless. And this one is by Johnny Riz. If Asami actually joined her father in season 1, the Equalists would have won. I mean, she has one of the best minds in the series, and we all know how well she works with her dad. Combine that with her insane martial arts skills, and she could have been an S-tier side villain. And in all honesty, I'd rather that happen. And to be honest, the Equalists kind of didn't lose. The only reason they lost is because of plot armor, and it was so stupid. Well, plot armor and bad writing, so they both go hand in hand. This concept would have been a way better and way more compelling story. Great hot take because of the concept. And if we're being real, the Equalists, they technically should have won. This next one is by Drax 2042. Korra ain't the strongest Avatar gang. She lost all the past lives, which was a majority of the Avatar state's power, which she lost. Well, of course, duh. Roll clip.
To empower you with the skills and knowledge of all the past avatars, focusing their energy through your body.
So that's more facts than anything. So that's all the core hot takes that I'm doing for just this week. Next week, I'll do the same thing with the core hot takes just sooner, so more people will be able to drop their hot takes. Be sure to like, comment your thoughts on which hot take you agree or disagree with. And while I was in the middle of editing this video, I saw that y'all helped me reach 26K subscribers, which is a shocker to me. And I want to thank all of y'all for supporting my channel. Oh, and also drop down in the comment section what other content would y'all like to see on the channel. Because don't get me wrong, I know more than just Avatar. I could definitely make entertaining videos. And I try to round up most of my videos into like separate playlists where y'all can just look for any video that y'all want to find in particular, based on whatever interest y'all might have. But nonetheless, I've been yapping way long enough.
Hello, Zuko here.
And if you like that video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And also let me know what you think the next video should be based off of. Because like I say at the end of all my videos, I read every comment and I make sure that y'all are heard. Because I'm trying to get to 50K by the end of the year, I would love to have your support and hear more about your ideas. I hope you're able to apply these words in your everyday life. And Lily, thanks for watching. Oh, and a reminder, drink water.
Perfection and power are overrated. I think you are very wise to choose happiness and love.